let's talk about Murphy's plan. So his plan.
He can't do it. I'm going to do it. So he said last week to Aalyah, I have this crazy plan. You've got to trust me.
It's for the greater good.
It's for the greater good. Trust me. You will just trust me. So first of all, you've got to for this to happen, you've got to assume that Seth doesn't watch SmackDown back. Seth's not watching any of this. He doesn't watch TV and he hasn't been tweeted in the week saying, did you see this, mate? Or one of his friends doesn't text him saying, you should probably watch out for Murphy. He's clearly scheming at you. First of all, you've got to accept that. Then you have to accept that the most intelligent thing, the best plan Murphy could come up with was to just kick someone the week after pretending to align with them. So that's stupid because you're making Murphy look like an idiot because it's like that's the only thing he can think of. You're making Seth look like an idiot for believing him. Seth spent like 5 weeks being kicked and beaten up by Murphy. And then he walks up to him and goes, you are the Messiah. And Seth goes, ha, ha, ha. And like, he accepts that Murphy's now back on his side for some reason. And then he's surprised when Murphy turns on him immediately. It just makes them both look like idiots. Like, no one came out of this match looking any better.
Yeah. And Ray didn't look better either because he won with assistance.
Yeah. And then he goes, yes, do you know what, man I've known briefly, you can be with my daughter who like Disney princess levels of falling in love quickly. It was like Anna in Frozen, who after like one song goes, I'm going to marry this guy. It's like, whoa. Yeah. No wonder your sister thinks you're an idiot.
So just to go over this plan, he made sure that Seth qualified for the Survivor Series team last week to try and get him on side, right? For him to believe that he was on his side again. So his plan was to not interfere in a no-holds-barred match until a certain point when it looked like Seth was not going to win, because he wasn't really. He just went to go gouge out the eye, but then Dominic got involved. So he decided that was the moment that he wanted to hit a knee onto Seth. And then he knew that if he got out the ring, Seth would chase him and put himself on the second rope so that Ray could hit the 619 and then he'd win. Here's my question. Why don't you just beat him up? Because it's a no-holds-barred match. You could just do that. What's the surprise for? Why go on side to then betray him again? Why don't you just not do that?
The only argument I can find is that Murphy's plan was actually something else, but so he was going to stay on Seth's side, but he realized that Seth was going too far. I was like, do you know what? I have to step in here. That's the only explanation they can even attempt. And other than that, it's just Murphy was an idiot.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, if it wasn't a no-holds-barred match, I could sort of maybe understand it, for that he has to wait for the right time to interfere to cost Seth because he has to wait for the referee to not look, right? And he has to bide his time for the right moment to capitalize so that Ray can win off the back of it. Still doesn't explain the whole going on his side to then betray him again, but it explains why he wouldn't interfere in the match until a certain point. This was a no-holds-barred match. Just get in the ring and beat him up, mate. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping just Ray, Dominic, and Murphy just laying into Seth. Just do that.
I've never understood why people in no-holds-barred matches don't just turn up with an axe. Or a baseball bat. Just both of them turn up. You just completely destroy the other person in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's so
Sting
dumb.
had the right idea.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you don't think about it, it's a cool moment. If you literally just shut off your brain for a minute and just go, "Oh, cool, he turned on him." Cool, fine. But if you think about it for a second, everything just starts falling apart. And that is basically this show as a whole, was if you think about it for a second, none of it makes sense.
And Ray now goes, wow, that man is incredibly violent. Yes, I want him to be with my daughter.
Yeah, totally. look, he showed his true colors here by pretending to be on his side so he could... He's so smart, you see, that he went on his side to betray him again because the surprise factor is what really turned the tides. It wasn't the knee, it was what was behind the knee. It was the message that he sent. Next
week, we're going to have the Mysterio Family karaoke hosted by Jimmy Uso, and it'll be Ray singing, "And I see your true colors shining through." And Murphy will be sitting there just with arm in arm with Aalyah.
And then Angie will turn heel because she didn't win.
Yeah, Angie walks up to Ray, kicks him, redoes the Linda McMahon spot, kicks Ray in the penis.
Yeah.
And then Dominic, for some reason, does a coast to coast. I'm just booking this match.
God, I think we're tired, mate.
Everyone turns on Ray.
Loopy. Oh man. And because the brand split doesn't exist, out comes Drew McIntyre.
No, it's still Survivor Series. It is the one other night of the year where, this was like, I get it in terms of story, but there's supposed to be two things. And I mean, it wasn't like, it's not like they didn't present this as an invasion. They were just like, oh, Drew McIntyre's here.
Drew's here.
I don't mind invasion storylines. Remember that brilliant one with Becky Lynch? Like, that's cool. You're like, wow, cool. SmackDown's invading Raw.
NXT invading. That was great.
Yeah, but this is just, oh, look, Drew McIntyre's here. Hi, Drew. How are you? Are you going to have a match? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I hate that. I hate it so much. Like, stick to your brand. The point that, like, if you're going to do brand warfare for Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown, surely the selling point of that is, like, you don't get to see these matchups anywhere else in the year. This is literally, if they're going to stick to it, the one night of the year where you will see Raw stars take on SmackDown stars. That's the big selling point, which is completely undermined when you have Raw stars facing SmackDown stars 2 weeks before Survivor Series.
And it's just this whole thing where you're like, does WWE really think its viewers are that stupid?
Yes.
Like, it is so insulting that you're like, oh, do you know what, guys? This is the one night of the year that this happens. But if it happens again, don't call us up on that, because this is the one night of the year.
See, the thing is, I remember, I can even remember tweeting this when they first started doing the brand warfare stuff in 2016 at Survivor Series. I said at the time, I was like, this is completely meaningless. No one has like brand loyalty or anything because the brands have literally only just begun. Like there's nothing, there's no loyalty to either brand here, I said. But then I said, if they stick to it, if they actually stick to brands and they have like minimal trades between brands so that you get over like the course of a couple of years, these stars are associated with these brands, you could have something. It's quite exciting to have a bit of like inner competition. I think at a base level, having some sort of points-based competition between teams across the span of one night is a fun gimmick. But they just undermine the entire storytelling point of it by having complete redrafts of the brand all the time. People can just swap whenever they want, and stars from either brand just show up on either show. It seems like a small thing, but it undermines the entire point of Survivor Series. And of course, there's no stakes. It's for pride and brand warfare, and it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't help that you have the draft a month and a half before it.
Exactly.
And the draft, everyone who got pretty much drafted to Raw was on SmackDown. Everyone on the Raw team was basically on SmackDown like 3 weeks ago. So then it's like, oh, I'm so loyal to this brand I've been on for a month. It's like, no, you're not. We know you don't care because you're probably going to get moved back in the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really dumb. But anyway.
Bring back another show. Like, we don't need Survivor Series anymore. Or if you want to do a show where there's everyone facing each other, just call it something else and don't have that tagline.
Just give it stakes. Just have a meaning for it, at least. And then there's actually a point for someone to be like, okay, I want Team Raw to win here because then I get the opportunity to do this other thing.
Yeah,
fine,
like,
whatever.
If you're a survivor in one of the matches, you get a title match.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's two people who win from Raw, say like I don't know, I can't remember who's on the team, but like if two of them win, they're like, okay, well you can be in a triple threat or whatever like that for the title. Just make them want it. Make even if it's a fake reason, at least give us a reason, not just like I love SmackDown, I want to win for SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. Or I don't know how it would work entirely, but whatever brand wins the night is the one that gets the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble. And then they, on their own show in the weeks afterwards, they have competitions and qualifying matches to see who gets that coveted number 30 spot. Because in kayfabe, that would be the spot you want. So just have them fight for it. Just make Survivor Series mean something. It's not hard.